back into Indie B&B. Today we are joined by Nick Jenkins out in beautiful Albuquerque of Infinitikiss. Nick, how is it
Hi,
going today?
goes well. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year indeed. Happy New Year indeed. Well, I want to get right to it here. You've got connections to a very special place in the Indie B&B ethos, as in Charleston, South Carolina, and Columbia.
So
So
honored.
yeah, I know. But I'd love to know what brought you out to Albuquerque.
My partner has a best friend from college, and so shortly after our relationship started, my partner basically said, "You ever think about um, leaving South Carolina or like moving somewhere?" And that was actually a conversation before we started dating. And then after we started dating, she visited a friend out here and just decided she wanted to be closer to her best friend. And that friend became one of my best friends
Yeah,
here. That's pretty much it. We rolled the dice.
I like it.
No other inspiration other than let's go where some love and possibility happen to be.
I like it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, obviously you spent a significant amount of time in Columbia and Charleston, and you played with a very large number of groups there. I read you did. We have a connection with my buddy Danny from Two Slices, and you
Love
you did.
Danny.
Yeah. So talk. Yeah, no. Talk about your time down there. I mean, did that definitely shape the way you're making music now, or is it still you still feel like you have a little bit of the low country in you?
Um, sure. I We've been here for just over 2 years. We moved a couple months before our child was born, and um, yeah, we miss our friends and family there. Not We're not like homesick or anything. We
Yeah.
have definitely found community and networks of people here to make it feel more like home. I haven't been trying to start any bands or anything like that. Um, but was the question about my time in Colombia?
Yeah, you see time and down in Charleston, and then just being able to, how that kind of influenced your
Okay.
music, and how Albuquerque is influencing your music now.
Well, I think Albuquerque, the experience of moving here, becoming a parent, and just juggling some freelance work. I'm also a barista and do random gigs here and there, but I think it's really taught me to slow down and help me to be present. And you probably hear a baby voice in the background. That's Louie and my partner Kyber. Um, yeah, I didn't have a lot of aspirations upon moving here other than it's like more free thinking, more freedom in general, more manifesting of dreams and building community organically with people. And we pretty much found that. Um,
That's
I,
awesome.
I'm just trying to be grateful for all the things that are in my life, whether
Yeah,
it feels or looks like I'm super busy or not.
yeah, gotcha. Well, cool. Well, let's kind of get to your music. I mean, I think it's "Oh Valentine's" one song that comes to mind, but the one I would love to kind of dive into a little bit more is the one with the very long name, the "In Some Vibration," that Pathos Green. And the whole time, like, I feel as though I'm anticipating. I love
Oh
that.
yeah,
It gives me that feeling. And so, just
yeah.
talk about we don't need to talk about that song right just a second, but like, talk about just in general for this Infinity Kiss project. Like, what was your inspiration and how'd you get into it?
Um, well, I'll go in reverse. I think that'll help me answer this uh well, answer it better than not answering it. But um I'm about to put out an ambient music album.
Hmm.
It's called Ambient Music, and that the contents of that album are basically all from cassette tapes that I used to play live shows with. They were basically backing tracks that I put
Wow.
loops on and just kind of ambient stuff to mix in and collage with live noodling and songs and stuff like that. But decided to just put that out as it is, as it was, because again, have been in this kind of meditative state and just like being okay with pressing pause in life and press
Mhm.
just being present and not forcing a lot to happen or try to start new projects. So it's actually just kind of a snapshot of where I was in 2015, around there, when I was starting
Wow.
to think about Infinitikiss as just
Mhm.
kind of an evolution of my solo exploration, solo journey, which is also very collaborative. And before I called it Infinitikiss, it was just basically my name, Mr. Jenkins. I would release music as, until I started to play enough shows with bands and with friends that kind of made me rethink the the public the public persona thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went to college in uh, Charleston from 2001 to 2005, and then after that stuck around, started playing in some bands. Met Lindsay Holler around that time, one of my good friends, Dan McCurry, who started Hearts and Plugs. We were in a band called Run Dan Run,
Yeah.
and from there a bunch of other stuff happened, and like just kind of built community from there. Um, and I moved to New York around 2010. I lived in New York 2011 and 12. Then I moved back to Charleston in 2013 and lived there 2013 14. And then I moved to Columbia 2015 and 16, I think. And then back to Charleston 17, 18. And then I moved back to Columbia in 2019, where when I met my partner. So it it around the second time I moved back to Charleston, I met Danny, I believe,
Yeah.
and um, I don't remember what else was going on in my life because it was kind of a busy time, but also kind of a hazy time. I wasn't sure where I was going, but I just wanted to stay active. There's a lot of soul searching going on.
Yeah.
And I'm, yeah, really thankful that I met Danny. He could probably give a better date. He's good with dates and remembering first
Yeah.
shows and stuff.
Talk to me
Sometime
about that.
between my two Columbia residencies, I met Danny. But
Yeah. Makes sense. He's a him and the New Brooklyn Tavern. You know, Two Slices owns the New Brooklyn Tavern in Columbia, and
it should just be
um,
called Slice Town,
yeah, it should be. I think they should change it. That'd be
Slice
great.
House.
Yeah, Slice House. They only serve pizza. It's good.
What are some of your favorite music venues in Atlanta?
So well, you know, we've we're actually hosting a show at Smith's Old Bar
Hmm.
for an album release for a band called Pacifico coming up here. So, you know, I would say that Smith's is one of my favorites. Terminal
What is
West.
Self Care was one of the bands? Is that right?
The album's called Self Care
Self Care.
Pacifico, and then Pacifico, Perfect Animals, and there are two other bands they just added that they're escaping me right now. But um, yeah, we're super excited to do that. But yeah, that's one of our favorite venues is Smith's Old Bar, and then
Sweet. One more
uh,
question about Atlanta, and then you
yeah,
can keep asking me questions. But do you know the band Breathers? Do you like that band?
I haven't heard them. No.
Oh, they're one of the best bands in Atlanta. Shout out to Lee. We've played, I think, a show or two with Two Slices. Big fan of that band.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out. Breathers, just breathers,
Breathers. Yeah.
breathers. All right. Well, I
Yeah.
like that. I like it. Well, we'll definitely check them out. So, I guess have you toured in here at all? Like as far as like coming to Atlanta, consistently with anybody or
Um, as consistently as any band will tour a regional circuit. Grace Joyner, I believe we played Georgia. enough times, as many times as maybe North Carolina.
Mhm.
I think Run Dan Run probably played some Atlanta dates for sure. I remember playing a house show with a bassist named Jason Ajemian, and we played with a songwriter who goes by Adron, who does some really, it's kind of like bossa nova indie pop stuff. I,
Cool.
I'm not sure if she's still Atlanta based, but
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Wow.
I'm sure. Yeah, a handful of times passed through
Yeah.
Atlanta.
So you're familiar, a little familiar with our fine city. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Is the Drunken Unicorn still a venue there?
So unfortunately, so I don't think that people play there anymore. I've been to one show there, and it was awesome. I saw Snail Mail there, but
Mm.
they're turning that whole entire development is getting put in and put in a big old. They're putting something else in there, and they're putting like they're redoing that whole shopping area. So
Mm.
unfortunately, I think the Drunken Unicorn's going away. MJQ, which is the club attached to it, as well
Okay.
is heading out as well. But again, had some great times in both places for sure. Um, People go to the aisle five, which is over in Little Five Points. Variety Playhouse obviously is another big venue.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
saw Feist there many years ago.
Interesting.
I think Valley Maker. I played a show with Valley Maker in Atlanta. I can't remember the venue, but it was downtown.
Is it the Masquerade?
It might have been.
Mhm.
Wait, that sounds like a big venue. It was a smaller one.
There's three stages of the Masquerade. There's Hell, Heaven, and Purgatory.
Oh,
So
yeah, we didn't play either of those.
um, sounds like you've been in a lot of different projects. So, like, have you been like a touring member of multiple places, or is it that kind of
Yeah,
even?
I went to school to study jazz, um, and drums were my primary instrument. And
Mhm.
so from there, just kind of took a journey of music uh, discovery with my drums mostly. And composing and kind of production came a little later. So, yeah, I've been very fortunate to play in a lot of projects as a drummer.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, when
Mhm.
you make the music for obviously the upcoming album coming out March 3rd, like, do you start percussion first, or do we go something else first? Like, where do we find the first inspiration usually for all the songs you get putting out?
It's usually other stuff. Like I try to challenge myself in the writing process, just like let my journals be my guide in terms of like what songs are about. Or maybe I just find a new tonal palette or sonic palette to mess with for a while, and that kind of unlocks something or informs
Mhm.
a dimension or perspective. So it's usually starts anywhere else but the drums, but the beats are always there. Um, the groundwork, if you will, is
Yeah.
usually always something rhythmic. But there, it I actually put one. I used one drum track on this new album, this most recent album, which isn't nec- technically that new, but uh, otherwise it was just going to be totally ambient and loose. But I thought I just wanted to have a little hint of some groove in there. So like halfway through the album, there's a a drum loop that goes on for a bit, but just
Very
kind of like
cool.
it just kind of coasts.
I like it. I like it. Very cool. Well, when you like, do you have aspirations to play as Infinity Kiss live and tour, or like what I think I've read somewhere that you wanted the experience live to be like an art installation.
Yeah,
So can you expound upon that? I mean, like, I want to know more.
yeah.
Like,
Every
something.
I really enjoy going to concerts, and my relationship to show culture and all that has changed a lot over the years, but in terms of collaborating with people to like make an experience together, like a lot
Mhm.
goes into um booking shows. Like a lot goes into uh cl- like a music venue like Royal American, for instance. You have the bar owner, you have the venue owner with the vision, you have the sound engineer, you have
Mhm.
your bands, you want to have a kitchen. It's kind of like a this thing with all these moving parts that people don't think about or give a lot of credit to. But um I I like being more transparent with the other moving parts that are going on. I haven't toured with Infinitikiss very much just because it's a new project, and
Mhm.
I haven't had the that sort of desire to just put that on the front burner and you know campaign it around the world. But
Yeah.
I rely on the internet and remote communication via satellite
Yeah.
to get stuff out there. Um, Infinity Kiss is also kind of like theatrical, so I've liked collaborating with um, costume designers, set designers, that sort of thing. Musicians who might not consider themselves musicians, really, like people who might be into computer programming that kind of just understand the bridge between computer language and musical notation. Uh, so yeah, I want to keep it as fluid and as open as possible. That was basically kind of the impetus for taking the turn in this direction. Anyway,
Interesting. Interesting. That's awesome. Well, I think like that'd be, a unique, I'm sure with the theatrical elements, and there would be a very unique show to put on, and it sounds like it would be like a Vegas, like like a, hey, we're gonna be here for the next 10 shows right here in Vegas or something like that. Like you could
that would
go,
be awesome.
yeah, you could go big. Like,
Yeah, I aspire to do more things like artist residencies and galleries where you can do sound installations and people kind of interact. It's immersive and you know walk away with something more than just the entertainment
yeah,
experience.
that's interesting. Yeah, I think obviously with the High Museum here in Atlanta, and like there's
Mm.
an installation there that's a huge stack of speakers,
Oh yeah,
and man, I can't remember what they play. Like they don't play. It's not like you would expect this wall of sound to be happening, but it's really just something smaller and more interesting. I'm butchering it right now as I talk about it, but definitely something if you're ever on this side of the world again to check out. I think it's still there. It seemed like one of those ones that was a permanent.
where'd you
Um,
say it was? What
the
gallery?
High Museum in Atlanta.
Cool.
Um,
I'll tell my friends about it and do some
yeah,
research.
yeah, I think they have a modern art part of the gallery there that
Mm.
is very pretty robust. A lot of different pieces to it. But with obviously you had these samples and backing tracks that you had pulled together. Like, how did you pull those tapes? Like, where'd you come from? Because one of our other people we've talked to, High Crime, they made music because they went into had like somebody had access to an old church, and they had just they pulled
Oh,
some tapes from
that's
different
one of my
pieces.
goals. That's one of our goals
Yeah,
right now is to find a church to live in or
yeah,
something that is as big as a church that you can
yeah,
do a lot of stuff in.
yeah. They had found some like tapes of some older, hymnals or something, and like they actually sampled them in some of their
Hmm.
music themselves. And so, you know,
Well,
reaching out.
this is my sample library. This dates back to, I guess, I want to say 2015 is when I started to try to like imagine a solo performance because I was playing drums in bands before that. but
Mhm.
I was also starting to write songs around the same time I graduated
Yeah.
college. And um, so instead of like just relying on a computer to make endless loops and programming beats live and stuff, which I also do a little bit of, I wanted to have something more textural to interact with.
Yeah.
And I've always enjoyed the like the obvious kind of nature of tape. It's film, magnetic film, and depending on how, I don't know how worn the thing is or how good your quality of tape is, you kind of hear that in the mix too.
Mhm.
Um, and so anyway, I started to put random noodles, just riffs that had no real assignments to songs, but like this one's in B major, and then this
Yeah.
one's in D major. And so I would just kind of write my set lists according to, um, what's this? C major, and then
Yeah.
write my set lists according to what tapes I had queued up. And so that would allow me to still improvise, which is something I enjoy. And it
Mhm.
would also give me a bit of a roadmap to rely on whenever I was ready to drop into songs or whatever.
Wow.
And the fun part of kind of those elements is that if whenever I wanted to assemble a band or whenever I want to play with people, there's very little rehearsal that needs to happen. If I have an idea of how I want the flow to go, I
Mhm.
just kind of communicate the energy intention to my friends or whoever, and then kind of the heavy lifting part of the songs are on me, and then everyone else can sort of blend in, just kind of trusting their own intuition with improvising.
Yeah. That is so unique. It's like we a lot of the times you think about it like, oh, like a song is like a beginning and an end, and it's got the chorus bridge, da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, and like it's
I
gonna go like this.
I also
And
love that. Yeah.
yeah.
I think the the part of my journey that's been like music as a drummer, like I understand music in a certain way and how you have a supportive role and people kind of rely on your voice in a certain way.
Mhm.
And so Infinity Kiss currently is kind of the opposite of that, kind of the the um the opposite of concrete
Yeah.
ideas.
Liquid. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the form of the thing that's in.
yeah. It's more about
I
feeling
like
it
it.
than just like
Yeah.
hammering it out, which I also do sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'll rehearse some songs on guitar, uh, and just play them the same way every time I have a show.
Yeah.
But I might take those same songs and stretch them out for an hour and only play three songs in a night or something.
That's
It's not
awesome.
everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah. Well, hey, like I think like there's something to be said about being able to just be flexible in that, and have both, you have both bullets in your chamber if you want. I'm sure there are bands that can't do that and stretch something out for 3 hours and be, in go different ways and just go, all right, we're gonna go B major and we're gonna have fun today, and we'll have the flow and see what happens and go
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah,
Um,
I like tonal explorations. I like atonal explorations where it's just kind of just out there, man. But yeah, I love music, and there's so many different ways to enjoy and to co-create an
yeah,
experience with people.
for sure. Well, it's funny. Like last, we'll get off and we'll move on to we'll move on to some other pieces to your stuff. Definitely want to ask about the names of the songs. There's a few different ones. You have a Valentine. You have the one I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to read
Yeah.
it again one more time here. And you ain't let me know if I mess it up. And
Oh,
you can go
let
ahead.
me try and remember what it is because I'm supposed to remember because I
All right.
actually I so these tapes that I just showed you, this is basically the album that is about to come out.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, those those tracks, those tapes have no song titles. They're just in keys. And when I had to come up with a track list for the album, for especially for this label that is in North Carolina called Fort
Mhm.
Lowell. They're the friends that are putting it out on vinyl.
Yeah.
Um, it had me think about like, well, what do I want the what do I, if it's instrumental music, what do I want to convey still? Like, where do I want people's minds to go a little bit? And I just wanted to kind of encourage meditation, and I thought about writing haikus. I thought about just like calling the tracks different color names, and then that just kind of evolved into kind of free handing a poem.
Mhm.
And so the poem just kind of, all the tracks are, you can read as one poem. And the
Oh,
single that has come out already is called In the Same Vibration That Pothos Green Grows. And so that track is in one key that um, two other tracks on that album are also in. So they also hint uh, at green vis- visual simulation, or a green sort of landscape you can meditate
yeah.
on.
So you put them in the mindset of that,
Yeah,
and then go from there. And it's
yeah.
like,
I
all
could
right,
have
I'm thinking
also
green.
I could have easily just as easily called the tracks like Roji Biv, and it would have been the same sort of mm, content, if you
Yeah.
will. Um, but I just tried to take it a little further
Yeah.
to so that it resonated with where I was coming from with the meditation angle.
Yeah. Moby put out a long ambience track that I've listened to, and that like really you like it definitely is a meditative like there's no words. It's just you just I put it on when I'm on an airplane because it's
Mm,
on my phone, and I just listen to it when I'm on the airplane. It calms me down. I'm like, okay,
nice.
we're gonna go through the long ambience here. So I think a similar. I definitely experimented with listening to things of that nature. I think it's very cool that it's all part of one poem, and it'll be kind of a cool
Yeah,
track.
you know a band called American Football.
I've heard that name. I haven't.
They're kind of an emo band on. They're one of the first bands on Polyvinyl Records out of Illinois. But one of their first full length albums was called. I think it's actually self titled, but their first full length album had track song titles that kind of read, if you read the whole track listing in one go, it had the cadence of a poem, and that always kind of stuck with me. I like when people do that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another. I had a band that I'd seen. It's gonna bother me now. Oh God, I'll think about it in a minute. I've seen them live. They're they're a little bit more like electric rock indie kind of deal.
You
They're
too.
yes, you too, exactly.
They were once
Uh,
indie.
they were until they spammed everybody's um they spammed everybody's deal.
What if some indie band from Georgia figured out how to do that? Like some really techie electronic band,
It
and they
might be it might be the band that I just talked to. I talked to a band from, and we haven't released this one yet, Coil, but they're all Georgia Tech students, and there were a couple
hmm,
of computer engineers in there. So I was like,
yeah,
maybe they
build
could do it.
stuff,
Yeah, build it.
hack the mainframe.
Yeah, I like it. Well, Nick, I want to get to Pete Peterson's party pack of questions because I think
Oh,
we're ready
go.
to just get in the nitty gritty here. We got to know if you like cake or pie. So let's get this thing going here.
Uh-huh.
Pete Peterson's party pack of questions, 20 questions right in a row.
Hmm.
This or that. Here we go. Cake or
Okay.
pie, Nick Jenkins. Cake or pie. Let's go.
What about a cupcake?
That's a good point. Hadn't thought about that. I like it. I like it. Salad or soup?
Would gazpacho constitute as both?
Gazpacho is cold soup. That does make me think about it a little bit. I like that. Damn. All right. Sunrise or sunset?
Is the earth ever really asleep?
In certain parts of the country, probably not. If you live in New York City, I believe that's the city that doesn't sleep. So I like that. I like that. I like it.
Actually, sunsets maybe.
Sunsets. I
Yeah.
bet the sunsets out in Albuquerque are beautiful over the right over
Yeah,
the
we
right over the
actually
desert.
our apartment faces east, and there's a mountain range called the Sandias that are they change colors a lot throughout the day, and it's really beautiful. They're
Yeah,
not as radiant right now, but they were sort of pinkish a little while ago. Now they're sort of like grayish blue. Um,
that's cool.
anyway,
I like it. All right. Would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
am I don't know how to answer that one with a question, but let's just go with home run.
You hit a bomb. I like it. I like it. I think I know the answer to this one, but night in or night out? What are you doing more nowadays?
Night in, yeah, for
Night in.
sure. It.
I like it.
I might go to a show on Thursday, and that is possible because my partner is like kind of giving me a a break that night, and then the next night I think she's gonna try and go to a show as well.
Beautiful.
But that's pretty rare. We're
Yeah,
pretty much homebodies.
I like it. I like it. Hey, getting out though, we like it. Robot or the worm? What are you
Oh,
doing if your jam comes on at the party?
oh, can I levitate? Robot, definitely.
Robot. I like it. I like it. Guac or queso? Got some good, I imagine some good Mexican food over by the border there. So I mean, are there what do we got over there? Guac or queso?
Um, there's both. There's also a lot of chili here. Chilies like green and red chili. So I'm gonna say, what's up with the chili?
Something chili. I like it. What is up with
That's
that chili?
actually kind of a soul searching question because I don't know yet.
You're working on it. I like it. Waffles or pancakes? What would you rather have?
Mm. What is baklava if not both?
Ooh, I like baklava. I could
It's
take
kind
that.
of like both. It's like a miniature stack of pancakes that is in the shape
Sounds
of a
so
cookie.
big. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's
it's a good
kind of a
point.
brownie also.
I like it. I like it. All right. Coffee or tea?
Mm, definitely tea. I love coffee, but I'm actually noticing long-term effects of coffee lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm
You're a
I'm
barista.
actually a barista, and I think about these things a lot. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. To answer this question with a question, I would say, what's up with the jitters at night?
Yeah. people are getting them probably. I like it. Dogs or cats?
Um, turtles.
All right. All right.
I,
Ninja
I'm
or
actually
pirate?
more of a cat person, but we don't have pets.
But you could have a turtle out there. You put it outside because the right heat.
Yes, yes. We go to the we take a lot of nature walks. We're pretty close to the river, the Rio Grande, that one,
Yeah.
and the kind of ecosystem that exists along the river is called the bosque, which just means forest in Spanish. And so we go to the bosque a lot and hang out with the ducks and the geese and turtles and stuff. I feel like that's just enough interaction with wildlife
Yeah.
and such. We have neighbors with dogs. Uh, we interact enough with
Yeah.
small creatures that I don't need to have one in the home right now.
Yeah. Gotcha. Very good. Well, what would you rather be, a ninja or a pirate?
Ooh, hmm. It's hard to answer all of these with questions. I was going to try and answer every question with a question, but I did watch this documentary on ninjas once that was pretty fascinating. You should just YouTube search like bootleg ninja documentaries. Uh, you'll find some really fun stuff. I think overall, I might, even though it sounds like a pretty brutal lifestyle, it also sounds cooler than just being out on the ocean stealing stuff. I like to have a purpose with my mischievous natures.
I like that. I like that.
If I'm to be working in the shadows under the cloak
Yeah.
of night, it would be nice to have a, a meaningful incentive.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to
A
take out a bad
purpose.
guy.
Yeah.
You don't always have to steal people's uh, bananas.
Bananas or any of those things. I
No, you don't
like
have
it.
to
I like
steal.
it.
I believe in abundance. There's enough for everyone.
Yeah. All right. Gatorade or Powerade?
What is up with red 40, blue 40, uh, monosodium glutamate, and whatever else is in either of
Yeah.
those
And in
things?
all those things. Yeah. High fructose corn syrup. We got some sugar. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We got a good doll. All
I
right.
haven't had either of those bevies in a while. I learned that um, you can basically create the same amount of electrolytes for your body if you just drink lemon juice with salt and water. Isn't that fascinating?
It's probably way better for you too.
Yeah,
Get the bang. Wow. Well, I need to do that. I have lemons, so I need to make some of that instead of
lemon's your
straight
best
Gatorade.
friend. Lemon is like your secret best friend. You don't even know how much of a friend lemon is until you really spend some time with lemon.
I like it. Man, I might have to ask. We used to ask lemon or lime, but my next question is chips or pretzels.
Oh, oh, mm. I just discovered rice cakes. My partner went grocery shopping recently and brought back some rice cakes. Those are the best of both worlds. They're kind of like popcorn too, and they can either be a savory or a sweet vehicle for snacks.
I love a good cheddar rice cake.
Hmm. I
I'm a
haven't even
sucker for
tried
that.
that.
The cheddar,
Yeah.
light and fit. I like them. I like them. I like that. Fries or tots?
Hmm. Mm. Why not a burrito with mashed potatoes? Has anyone done that?
I think Taco Bell used to have a burrito with mashed potatoes back in the day.
They would.
Uh, it was good.
I
Not
had a
mashed. I guess they were
burrito.
full potatoes, not mashed potatoes.
I had a burrito with tots on it today. It was fine. My
Oh,
partner and I like to just like to talk about to review, if you will. We'll give a restaurant a review, but if it's like subpar, we'll say it's pretty okay.
it's pretty okay. But what is fine? Is fine like better than okay, or is
Fine
fine
is like
like, not as good?
fine is not as good as pretty okay.
Okay.
Pretty okay is like, yeah, I would eat it again, but I know that it's not going to blow my mind. or wow me. We
It's not gonna sell the tickets.
Yeah, we
I like it.
definitely we don't have a lot of homesick feelings, but a lot of times I truly miss the southern staple of rice in a lot of everything,
Hmm.
just like a side of rice and beans. That's actually um a tricky thing to find around town.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. All right. TV or movie? When you sit down and you're kicking your shoes off at night, you've had a long shift.
Mm.
What are you going to sit down and watch? A TV show or a movie?
What if the band TV on the Radio had a TV show?
I'd watch it probably because there'd probably be some wolves in that TV show like them.
Yeah, where they just play music videos all day, like MTV used to do.
Yeah. There's one channel now that has music videos, and I will sometimes put it on, but I can't. They have commercials too, which is unfortunate. But I do love a music video. I think it's a lost art.
Yeah,
All right, are aliens real? You live next to Roswell, New Mexico, I'm sure, or you're in the same state. So are they real?
totally,
Okay. All right,
for
is
sure.
Bigfoot real?
Um, I have yet to have my own reason for belief in this, but I have a friend who is like a new musical buddy that I admire a lot. His name's Kenny, and he performs and writes music as Tranquility Wizard. It's some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard. Love his voice so much. He's also a filmmaker, and he's working on this film. I think he's wrapping it up. It's called Summer of Sasquatch, and I I think my friend Kenny has more stories and more reason to believe that Squatch is real. Um, I cannot comment any further.
Okay, fair, fair. I like it. You have somebody in the Squatch industry though,
Yeah,
which is rare. No, not many are in that. So
Squatch scene.
the Squatch scene. Um, do you believe love at first sight is real?
Yes, yes. I also believe in mass programming. That people, a lot of what we think is love and romance is kind of uh, sadly um, programmed through media and Hollywood and stuff. And also pop songs, popular music gives us this feeling of like things needing to be a certain way or expecting love to like punch you in the face a certain
Yeah,
way. Um, so in a way, yes, I do. In a way, I question it. But overall, love wins all day. So
yeah,
if it's first sight or the fifth time you see something and then fall in love with it, it's can be real either way.
yeah. I like that. I'm
Are
thinking
these
about.
are these the longest answers you ever got for these party pack questions?
I would say it's on the longer end, but
You're gonna have to
yeah.
edit a lot of this.
No, man, we put it out raw. We just
Okay.
go. We just go because that's what the people are here for. They're here for
Th-
the answers. They're here
Thanks
for
for
the
keeping
answers.
it so casual.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. It's not the like we're not going to sit here and I'm not going to hammer the questions to you if that's not the buy. I'm going to go with what we're feeling because it's about you. End of the day.
Thanks, Grant.
Yeah,
Thanks
you
for
got it.
having me, by the way,
Of
again.
course. Of
Very
course.
cool.
Well, our final question to Pete Peterson's, and you've thrown out a handful of bands. If you want to wrap that up, or you can give us two new bands that we ought to check out, that we should know about, and if we want to reach out to them, we're going to tell them Nick Jenkins sent us.
Oh, within
Uh,
the Southeast music scene?
Anywhere.
Hmm. Seems like you have a pretty good thing growing with your sort of South Carolina network.
Yeah.
Um, um, I don't know if I would have pursued music as long as I have if I hadn't, you know, befriended people like um Dan McCurry, who I was in Run Dan Run with. He has actually been one of my best friends and for years. A lot of pivotal music points, like musical growth points I've had. He's been there, like whether it's helping me get a new get new resources, like this computer I'm using right now was a gift that came from my friend Dan getting friends to pitch together to help me replace a computer that I lost clumsily. And yeah, Dan McCurry, my friend Lindsay Holler, who now lives in Columbia, who used to live in Charleston. Very big, very big player in the Charleston music scene. Have you heard of any of those like women and music concerts that happen at Charleston Music Hall?
Hmm.
Put it on your radar. I think they still do it, but Lindsay has helped with those, helped co-curate, co-organize those. Um, but have you had Brett Nash on your show yet?
Hmm.
Really? You should have you should have Brett on your show like 5 times and just talk about different dimensions of Brett.
Different dimensions. So is it a single artist or is he in bands? Is he in
Yes,
yeah all
all
of
of
the
those.
above?
Yeah.
All of the above.
Also, another friend, another it's like part of my community experience where someone's just there being genuinely themselves and also also has been a bandmate in different projects and a lot of bands that I've forgotten that I was in. But like when I think of Brett, I go, "Oh yeah, we did some crazy stuff together." Like we were in a band called Short Shorts once that not a lot of people know about. Um, uh, yeah, my
Okay.
friend Arel Pilo, I think you had on your show, or maybe that was another podcast. Uh, Arel has a band called Pilot, or a musical project called Pilot, whose last name is also Greek. Pilo,
Elo.
Pilo, Pilo, but the band is called Pilot, like airplane pilot or
All
astronaut
right.
pilot.
All right.
She's cosmic.
I like it. I like it. So we got Lindsay. We got Dan McCrary of Run Dan Run. Lindsay Holler.
Hmm.
Brett
Um,
Nash of Different
I mean,
Dimensions.
yeah, the number of collaborators that have been in the Infinitikiss universe, Infinitikiss orbit, is a very long list, and I don't want to just like start naming any of those bandmates because then I'd forget other people. But
Yeah.
I I will name one just because I know this person is busy right now, and that's Kari Lucas, who has a project called Contour. You've probably heard of. Um, Kari has has taken some chances musically with me, and I appreciate that, and is also an inspiration.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah,
man, you got a heck of a community, and I
yeah.
know
So grateful, so grateful.
that you got some good stuff. So we'll definitely be checking things out. And I'm intrigued by Brett, and I'm intrigued by Short Shorts. So I'll have to follow up with him and understand a little bit more about that. And I'm
Right now,
intrigued by
Brett.
Run Dan Run.
I think Brett's been on the road with Band of Horses mostly, but Brett has also played bass with Two Slices.
Okay, gotcha.
He's
I
one of the
wonder.
toppings.
He's one of the times.
Yeah,
Laser Cat and Danny are the sauce and the bread, and they just throw different people in there as they
yes,
see fit.
yeah.
I like it. I like it. Well, as a final question, what's your favorite Two Slices song?
I'm only laughing because it brings me joy to just even think about my friends.
Yeah.
Maybe I think the first song I ever heard might have been Underground,
Underground.
and it's I feel like it's a sleeper jam. It's not maybe not as popular as Slow Poison from that same album or Big Girl, uh,
Yeah.
but it was the first song I heard, and I knew that I wanted to like be friends and make music with this person.
Yeah.
And uh, yeah, I'll go with Underground.
Underground. I love it. I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Nick Jenkins of Infinity Kiss. He
Thanks,
has an album
Grant.
coming out March 3rd
Yeah, on vinyl.
on vinyl.
100 copies pressed, and Fort Lowell, based out of Wilmington, North Carolina,
Mhm.
is putting it out, and I'm super stoked.
I love it. I
I
love
think
it.
I
Well,
might
you,
put out some tapes in the future, but I want to like see how the vinyl thing goes first.
yeah. All right. And as we get things and updates from Nick, you can be sure that they will be on our Instagram and pushing them, pushing Nick as hard as we can to our Atlanta locals. And we'll hope to see Nick someday putting on a show either at the High Museum or at Smith's Old Bar. Could be both.
Oh, though I would be honored to do stuff.
I like it. I like
Thanks
it, Nick.
again.
Appreciate
Happy
it,
New
man.
Year.
Happy New Year, brother.
Peace, signs.